faith, hope, and love, remembering that the greatest of these is love. Amen.
A reading of Psalm 23 and some words to guide all of us in our work. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk down the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And the people respond, the Lord is our shepherd, we shall not want. In green pastures and still waters, he restores our souls. Even in the darkest valleys, we will fear no evil, for his presence is our comfort and strength. Surely his goodness and mercy will follow us all our days, and we will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
Thank you. It's always a distinct privilege and joy to hear the Naval Academy Glee Club and the Marine Corps Band. The Naval Academy Glee Club has moved and delighted audiences since 1845 in venues from Carnegie Hall to the Vatican. The Marine Corps Band has performed at nearly every inaugural. They accompanied Lincoln when he went to dedicate a cemetery at Gettysburg. They helped us hail the unveiling of the Statue of Liberty, and they welcomed Winston Churchill to the White House. Truly, the story of America has always been accompanied by the rhythms and harmonies of the Marine Corps Band and the Naval Academy Glee Club. And as we give them a warm welcome, please rise and join them as they lead all of us in song.
Say Morning, everybody. Welcome on into our first members live stream. We'll see how this goes. President Trump speaking at the prayer breakfast here in a minute.
Welcome the 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much. This is very beautiful, I must say. This is a beautiful place. And our country is starting to do very well again. It's happening fast, a little faster than people thought. Thank you especially to Senator Marshall for the beautiful introduction. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Great senator you are. I also want to thank a friend and a man of profound faith and tremendous patriotism who's also become a great friend. You become much friendlier when you have a majority of 2 or 3 or 4. Could even be 5 pretty soon. But for a little while it was 1. And that's Mike Johnson, Speaker. Thank you very much, Mike, very much. And thanks as well to somebody who's doing a fantastic job, Senator Thune. Thank you very much, Senator. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's really great. And Leader Scalise, Steve, wherever you may be, I know I think you're here someplace. There he is, a brave guy, too. A brave guy, I always say it. And Senator Chuck Schumer. Chuck, thank you very much. Thank you. Senator Hassan, thank you very much. Thank you, very nice to see you. Congressman Jeffries, thank you. And many other very distinguished leaders in the room. It's great group of people. If we could ever come together, it would be unbelievable. It may not happen, but it should, and maybe it will. From the earliest days of our republic, faith in God has always been the ultimate source of the strength that beats in the hearts of our nation. We have to bring religion back. We have to bring it back much stronger. It's one of the biggest problems that we've had over the last fairly long period of time. We have to bring it back. Thomas Jefferson himself once attended Sunday services held in the old House chamber on the very ground where I stand today. So there could be nothing more beautiful than for us to gather in this majestic place. It is majestic, and reaffirm that America is and will always be one nation under God. At every stage of the American story, our country has drawn hope and courage and inspiration from our trust in the Almighty. Deep in the soul of every patriot is the knowledge that God has a special plan and a glorious mission for America. And that plan is going to happen. It's going to happen. I hope it happens sooner rather than later. It's going to happen. And it's His hand that guides us every single step of the way. And all of you and the things we have to do is to see the defining role that faith and prayer have played in the life of our nation. And you just have to look at this building, and you can look at each other. You can really look at each other. It's defined almost everyone in this room. I think faith has been very strong with the people in this room. Just steps away from here in the Hall of Columns is the statue of John Winthrop, who famously proclaimed that America would stand as a city upon a hill, a light to all nations. with the eyes of all people upon us. Today, almost 400 years after that famous sermon, we see that with the Lord's help, the city stands taller and shines brighter than ever before, or at least it soon will. In that same hall, we also find the statue of the great Roger Williams, who founded the state of Rhode Island, named its capital city Providence, and built the first Baptist church in America. It's Williams that we have to thank for making religious liberty part of the bedrock of American life. And today we must protect the fundamental freedom with absolute devotion. We must stand strong, just like generations of Americans have done on the battlefields all around the world. Feet away from the magnificent rotunda, another statue watches over visitors to the Capitol. George Washington, the founder of our country, often called for Americans to join together in prayer, very often. And more than 2 centuries later, this morning, we heed President Washington's wisdom and follow in his mighty footsteps. He was a strong man and of great religious strength. The stories of legends like Washington, Winthrop, and Williams remind us that without faith in God, there would be no American story. Every citizen should be proud of this exceptional heritage. We have an unbelievable heritage, and we have to use that and make life better for everyone. That's why as we approach the 25th times 10 anniversary, think of that, 250 years we'll be celebrating next year of our country's founding. I have signed an executive order to resume the process of creating a new national park full of statues of the greatest Americans who ever lived. We're going to be honoring our heroes, honoring the greatest people from our country. We're not going to be tearing down, we're going to be building up. It will be called the National Garden of American Heroes. Some of you will be on that soon-to-be hallowed ground. Some of you, let's see, I can pick a few of you right now by looking. There's a couple of you right now I can see. Let's see. It's the president's sole opinion. And I've given myself a 25-year period. And then somebody else. By that time, it'll be very, very built up. No, it will be something very special. And I hope that Congress will fully fund this wonderfully unifying project at the first possible opportunity. It's not going to be a lot of money. It's going to be very important, however, so that more of our people can be inspired by the faith and courage of patriots like those who we honor in these halls. One of the incredible Americans whose memory my order will celebrate is also recognized with a statue in the Capitol representing the great state of North Carolina. And that's a man known who everybody loved, Reverend Billy Graham. He was something. My father used to take me to watch the Crusades. He would take me to Yankee Stadium. I remember it so well. I remember it more than I remember any Yankee game, and I've seen a lot of Yankee games. Can you believe it? And Billy didn't have a bat, so, you know, it was pretty good. It was amazing. You'd have 60 or 70,000 people, and they loved him. They loved him. I saw him with Franklin. I don't know if Franklin's here. I just don't know, but I've gotten to know Franklin. He's done a great job with helping on tragedies, on problems like in North Carolina, California. He's always the first one there. The work he does is, his father's very proud of him, I can tell you that. But Billy Graham was very special. One floor below us, Reverend Graham's statue stands with an open Bible. The page turned to a letter from the Apostle Paul, which reads, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." Never give up. Never, ever give up. You can't. How about me? If I would have given up, I would not be here right now. Who the hell knows where I'd be? It might not be a good place. If it was up to the Democrats, it would not be a good place at all. Never, ever give up. There could be no better message for the leaders gathered here, and you are real leaders. And we must never give up, and we must never grow tired. We must never grow weary, and we always must practice good. As you know, last week, only a few miles from here, our nation witnessed a terrible tragedy when 67 people were killed in a horrible accident near Reagan Airport. As one nation, we take solace in the knowledge that their journey that night did not end in the icy waters of the Potomac, but in the warm embrace of a very loving God. None of us knows exactly when our time on earth will be over. You never know. A truth I confronted a few short months ago when there was an incident that it was not fun. It was not a good thing. But God was watching me. The chances of me being here, my sons are shooters. They're really good shooters, Don and Eric. And they said the chances of missing from that range with that gun are, Don equated it to a 1-foot putt. That's pretty bad. 2 feet I can see missing, but 1 foot you can't miss. It was the equivalent of a 1-foot putt is what he told me. He said, in fact, he gained some religion. He went up 25%. And if you know him, that's a lot. But he said there had to be somebody that saved you, and I think I know who it is. And he looked up, and I said, "Whoa, Don, you've come a long way." He's a good guy, but my 2 sons just really couldn't believe it. Had I not turned that right turn just at that time, and the audience, 55,000 people standing this way, there were just a few people in the back on the bleachers. There was nobody over there except for my all-time favorite chart in history, a chart on immigration. Immigration saved my life, see? So we're going to be good for immigration, okay? But had I not made that turn, boom, and quickly, it was almost as though a deer bolted. You know, they say the only way you miss when you're a good shot is if it bolts. I bolted. I turned to the right to look at the chart, and I said, wow, what was that? What was that? So you never know, but God did that. I mean, it had to be. The chances of turning, there's no reason to turn to the right. You know, the chart is rarely brought down. I brought it down maybe 20%, and 20% of the time. And it's never on my right, it's always on my left. And it's always at the end of the speech, never the beginning of the speech. And if I was a little more than that 90-degree angle, it would be no good. And if I was a little less, it would be no good. It had to be perfect. The thing went right along the edge. It didn't affect my hair. Can you believe that? Might have touched it, but not where it counts. Not the skin part. But honestly, it's a mirror. It changed something in me. I feel even stronger. I believed in God, but I feel much more strongly about it. Something happened. So, thank you. Thank you. But that event, like the tragedy last week, should remind us all that we have to make the most out of every single day that we have. Who would think that you're in space and 2 things collide? The odds of that happening are so small, even without proper control. We should have had the proper control. We should have had better equipment. We don't. We have obsolete equipment. They were understaffed for whatever reason. I guess the helicopter was high, and we'll find out exactly what happened. But the odds, even if you had nothing, if you had nobody, the odds of that happening are extremely small. It's like, did you ever see, you go to a driving range in golf and you're hitting balls, hundreds of balls, thousands of hours. I never see a ball hit another ball. Balls going up all over the place. You never see them hit. It was amazing that could happen. There was a lot of mistakes made, and it should have never happened. But regardless of that. It's amazing that it happened. And I think that's going to be used for good. I think what is going to happen is we're all going to sit down and do a great computerized system for our control towers, brand new, not pieced together, obsolete like it is land-based, trying to hook up a land-based system to a satellite system. And the first thing that some experts told me when this happened is you can't hook up land to satellites and you can't hook up satellites to land. It doesn't work. We spent billions and billions of dollars trying to renovate an old broken system instead of just saying, cut it loose and let's spend less money and build a great system done by 2 or 3 companies, very good companies, specialists, that's all it is. They used 39 companies. That means that 39 different hookups have to happen. And I don't know how many people of you are good in terms of all of the kind of things necessary for that, and it's very complex stuff. But when you have 39 different companies working on hooking up, different cities had different people, you need one company with one set of equipment. And there are some countries that have unbelievable air controller systems, and bells would have gone off when that helicopter literally even hit the same height because it traveled a long distance before it hit. It was just wouldn't stop. It was, follow the line. But bells and whistles would have gone off. They have them where it actually could virtually turn the thing around. It would have just never happened if we had the right equipment. And one of the things that's going to be, I'm going to be speaking to John and to Mike and to Chuck and to everybody. We have to get together and just, as a single bill, just pass where we get the best control system. When I land in my plane, privately, I use a system from another country because my captain tells me, I'm landing in New York and I'm using a system. I won't tell you what country, but I use a system from another country because the captain says this thing is so bad, it's so obsolete, and we can't have that. So we're going to have the best system and a lot of money, but it's not that much money. And it'll happen fast and it'll be done by total professionals. And when it's done, you're not going to have accidents. It's just they're virtually not possible to have. Each of us is blessed with a precious chance to help lead America to renew our pledges of faith and everything else and bring us to new heights and create a future of promise for our people and for ourselves. We have the most important people in the country in a true sense here because you're the ones that are going to make the decision. You're the ones that are leading us into so many different things, whether it's the right air control system or the right size military or what to do and what not to do. Most important people. And many of you are very religious. I know so many of you are very religious. And I just think that our country has been so badly hurt. We're very hurt by what COVID did to religion. It really hurt it badly. People couldn't go to church for a long period of time. Even going outside, they were given a hard time. And I'm not blaming anybody for that, but it was very hard to gather. So they start using computers, if that. And when they come back, it's just, a whole new experience they have to get used to. But it is starting to come back. We had a fantastic thing happen yesterday. The Army had the best recruitment numbers that they've had in more than 15 years. They think it could be 25 years, actually. They're going to probably put that out, but more than 15 years just now. And we were worried about it. We were talking about it numerous times that, we don't have people joining our military services. We don't have people joining our police force. We have to cherish our police. It's so dangerous. You open a car and somebody starts shooting. They have blackened windows. You don't even have any idea who's in the car. Oftentimes they have the dark windows, which they're not, in theory, supposed to have, but they have them. The door opens and a gun is pointed at your face, and you can't do a thing about it. It's just nothing you're going to do about it. Your friends will take them out. It's happened so many times, but it's such a dangerous thing. We have to cherish these people. So today we join our hearts and prayers and recommitting to putting our country first. We have to put our country first, making America stronger and greater and more exceptional than ever before. And we have to make religion a much more important factor now. We have to make it an important factor. And if we do that, it's going to be, our job is just going to be much easier. It unifies people, it brings people together. Democrats are going to be able to have lunch again and dinner with Republicans. And I remember just as growing up, I'd see, I revered senators, congressmen, or something very special, but they were out to dinner all the time. We had an old congressman, maybe some of Cy Halpern from Queens, and he was a friend of my father. But he'd have dinner with, he was a Democrat, he'd have dinner with Republicans, and he'd be out, it wouldn't even make a difference. Today, it's like shocking. And it shouldn't be. You have to get together. We really have to get together. We all know what's right and what's wrong, and there's going to be compromise on both sides. But we have to just do the right thing, and we have to get together. You did it with Marco Rubio. You got everybody who was 99 votes, and the only vote was our VP, who maybe we should have been there just to make it 100. But I think I would have been angered if it was 100. That might be a step too far, right? But no, it was great to see a vote. Pam Bondi had support from Democrats, and some of the others had some pretty good support. So, it's doable. We had a recent bill having to do with a very beautiful young lady who was killed from Georgia. And that bill was very bipartisan. It was a very beautiful thing to watch, actually. And so I think we just have to, if possible, we have to unify. There's big division. I mean, some people want an open border and some people want a closed border. We want it closed and they want it open. And that's a big difference. How do you solve that problem? It's a big difference. Some people want men and women's sports and some people don't. And I was with somebody yesterday who was so upset that the bill was signed where men cannot participate in women's sports. And I said, he's a very smart guy, went to a great school, was a great student, and he actually feels, that should happen. Men should be able to play, meaning transition into women's sports. And you talk to him and it says, I don't understand it. I don't understand how the problem ever got started in the first place. It just seems so simple. But he's a good person and just believes it. He just believes it. Not going to be easy to convince him otherwise. So where is the middle ground? It's hard to have a middle ground. There's two ways. I mean, you can either do it or you can't. But I think a lot of good things are going to happen. A lot of people might be surprised to hear me say that of all people, but I think a lot of good things are going to happen because our country's got some big headaches, but we have tremendous spirit right now. The spirit is as high as it's been. It was up 49 points this morning. 49 points. It's the biggest increase in the history of whatever the poll was. So the spirit is there. That's a big factor. That's probably the hardest thing to get back, to be honest. The rest is easy. The rest is easy. So I want to just thank you all. I want to congratulate a lot of the new members. I see so many of you that ran great races, David. That was a great race. But so many that ran great races, and on both sides. You ran some incredible races, so it's good to be with you. And God bless everybody. We want to come together, and the happiest, the person, the element, the everything that's going to be happy. People of religion are going to be happy again. And I really believe you can't be happy without religion, without that belief. I really believe it. I just don't see how you can be. So let's bring religion back. Let's bring God back into our lives. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Great honor. Thank you.
Okay. Wow. That was fascinating. A very somber, reflective President Trump there. All right, now we'll move to where the president currently is, and he's speaking again to the National Prayer Breakfast. I don't know if it's the same speech or not, but let's listen to a little bit of what he said there. This just happened in the last 10 minutes. Yeah, heartfelt honesty. He was humble. Yeah. He was very reflective, somber, uplifting, positive, unifying, or at least trying to be. Uh-oh. Another one of these deals where we can't get the audio right. Amazing, right? Oh, boy. All day to get the audio set for the guy to arrive, and they can't get it right.
Beautiful tradition. They told me I could do it via Skype. And I said, what are we doing? And they said, the prayer breakfast. I said, I've been there every year. I'm not doing it via Skype.
Sounds like they got the mics on the audience louder than they have his mic.
Yeah, it's not that far. You know, it's like about
I think that's exactly what it is.
down the road.
We're hearing the mic from the camera
A Skype deal.
and not his mic from the podium.
Going to the White House, putting up all that stuff. But no, I want to be here with you.
Ay, ay, ay.
And I have been here with you. And I do that despite the fact that they say I can't run again. That's the expression. Sure. And somebody said, I don't think you can. Oh. No, I want to be with you regardless, and it's an honor, and yeah, it's something I've enjoyed. I've actually met some very nice Democrats here.
I mean, I can't believe this. Are you kidding me?
But this is a beautiful tradition that started with President Eisenhower in 1953, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. If the 4 long years, really, they were very long, dark years, in my opinion.
There you
Great to
go.
be back at the prayer breakfast, and I hope you all agree it's nice to once again have a president that shows up to the prayer breakfast. And that agrees to be interviewed for the Super Bowl. I'm doing that too. They haven't done it in so long, they forgot about it. They said, oh, but they hadn't done it in years. But I said, yeah, this morning they wanted to know. And I said, yeah, why not? What the hell? You know the way I look at it? They ask you a question and you give them an answer. It's not that hard. But they didn't show up for years. So they were almost shocked when I said, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? But I want to thank our great newly confirmed Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, who's fantastic, by the way, for being here this morning. I don't know if, is he around? Where is he? Where is he? With the lights, I can't, there you are. You are a handsome devil. He's a good-looking guy. He's got an even better-looking wife, I can tell you that. But I want to thank you and Catherine for, you've been fantastic. I knew immediately, he was running in a group of people, and I spotted him immediately. I said, that guy's a winner. He didn't get the gravitas, because to get gravitas, you have to be controversial and, in many cases, a horrible human being. You get a lot of gravitas that way, and he's a very good human being and very smart. But I said, he is really outstanding, and he's going to do a job with Chris Wright. Two of them, it's like a partnership with Interior and Energy. He's going to have more liquid gold coming out of the ground than anybody's ever seen before. We're going to drive the price down, and everything else is going to follow. So he's one of the really important people. He's a very, very, very great gentleman, was a fantastic governor, by the way. And really did do. And for sort of learned the oil
I don't know
business
about
as a
that.
governor because he made his money, made a lot of money, which I like. I like people that make money because that means they can help us. And they always like me to put in really people that have failed. They want, please, sir, he's made too much money and he's become too successful. They want me to hire people that have totally failed to run Department of Energy. Somebody that lost all his life, I don't want to do. I just don't want to do it. I know it sounds nice, but I want to get somebody that was so successful because we got to bring the country back. And him and Chris are going to be unbelievable. I really believe it. But I want to, so I want to thank you very much, Doug, for what you've gone through. He's gone through a lot too, but he was easily approved because he's an honest person. He gave a statement. They read it. They said thank you. But as well as our co-chairs, Representatives Ben Klein and Jonathan Jackson. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, fellas. Right. Congressman Eric Burleson and visiting dignitaries from more than 120 countries. From the very beginning of our republic, America has always been a nation founded by people of faith and strengthened by the power of prayer and united by four simple but very beautiful words: in God we trust. And you all know there was a movement to get that out. I said, no way, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. I don't want to hear it. There was a movement. We don't want that because we shouldn't be mentioning God. You know, there was a very strong movement, just like they don't want to say Merry Christmas, but now they say it. Remember in 2016, I was a whole big part of my campaign. You're going to say Merry Christmas. Well, now they do it again. But we... I don't know if you've been watching, but we got rid of woke over the last 2 weeks. Woke is gonzo. Despite the other side stealing hundreds of millions of dollars to promote woke. Did you see what happened yesterday where they found hundreds of millions of dollars of money was fraudulently given to newspapers and, I guess, Politico? I don't know. They're here. Good. I hope you're enjoying your breakfast. No, they gave money to all this out of U.S. aid, right? U.S. AID. It came out hundreds of just tremendous amounts of money, had nothing to do with anything. This is a terrible thing that was experienced, but we're catching them left and right. We're catching them. We're catching them to a point where they don't know what the heck is going on. They can't believe they're getting caught. And I have great respect for the people that are doing it. Elon Musk is helping us on it. And he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's pretty good at it. But the numbers are astounding. They're astounding. Even Doug was shaken up by what he heard. Do you believe that, Doug, what you've been reading? It's just very dishonest stuff. But it was faith that led the pilgrims to cross an ocean and settle this majestic continent, and we're going to keep it majestic. It was belief in our Creator that moved the patriot farmers to stand strong for liberties at Concord Bridge 250 years ago this April, and we're going to have a big party next year. And we have the Olympics coming in, and we have the World Cup coming in, and we have the 250th year celebration, all three. And you know, when I was president, I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. 250 years I had nothing to do with, just happened to be. But it all came due the presidency after what should have been mine, really should have been. And they had a little election that, let's just say, didn't work out too correctly. A lot of things have been found out about that. But so I got forced to run again, and I ran again. And now I have the Olympics, I have the World Cup, and I have 250. So I said, this is interesting, you know. When I got them, I said, you know, the only bad thing about the Olympics is I won't be president. The only bad thing about getting the World Cup, I worked hard to get the World Cup because everybody wants it. Everybody wants the Olympics. But the only bad thing was I said, you know, I won't be president, and I might not, you know, when you're not president, you might not even be invited. I said, isn't it sad? Then all of a sudden I run and I win, and then somebody says, sir, you're going to have to start thinking about the Olympics. I said, you know, you're right. I never thought about that during the campaign. I'm going to be here for the Olympics and the World Cup. How about that? God works in very strange ways. But we had a great election. We won by a massive majority. Won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of people. We have a mandate, and some say the most consequential election in 129 years. And that's good because I'm a believer, like you're a believer, and we want to have a believer in this position. And it was confidence in America's God-given destiny that pushed the pioneers to journey west and led Americans to end slavery, crush fascism, defeat communism, and conquer every single challenge that we faced. And they were very great challenges. Now it's the same time, I have to remember, unyielding faith in America's mission that inspires us to make our country great again. And soon it will be greater than ever. We're doing really well. We're doing really well. It's, I think in 2 weeks they're saying, I'm reading it, so I'm not even saying it, but I feel it, that we've done more than just about any president ever. The first 2 weeks have been probably, they say, the most successful 2 weeks in the history of any presidency. Now all we have to do is keep it going for another couple of 100 weeks. But it's been very successful. And if this guy gets a lot of oil out of the ground to bring down everybody's prices, it'll even be better. So, Doug, you shouldn't even be here right now. You should be, get out of here, Doug. Start looking for oil. After years of decline, Americans are reasserting our true identity as a people ordained by God to be the freest and most exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. But we weren't that for 4 years. I don't believe we were. And we're getting there very soon, very quickly. I'll be able to say it, and we'll be able to say it again. As I said in my inaugural address 2 weeks ago, a light is now shining over the world, the entire world. And I'm hearing it from other leaders. I'm hearing it from leaders that have traditionally not been on our side, that there's so much more, there's such a good feeling in the air, so different than it was just a short time ago. Because here in America, we are once again a nation that believes in ourselves. We believe in our destiny and trusts in the providence of Almighty God. And I can tell you the opposite side, the opposing side, and they oppose religion, they oppose God. They've lost their confidence. They've lost their confidence. It's a different group of people than I remember. Over the past 2 weeks, our strength has been restored, our spirit has been revived, and a new national momentum has been sweeping across our land. The golden age of America has officially begun. And I will tell you, I just read it this morning, a statistic just came out that in the last 15 years, we just broke the record, Army recruitment, and they think it's going to be 25 years, but right now it's 15, more than 15. Army recruitment has gone up. You've probably been reading that it's been way down in the dumps. And recruitment's the highest it's been in more than 15 years, and that's going to get higher, and it could be 25 years, but that's going to get higher and higher. And that's a tremendous thing. That's a tremendous thing, and a poll came out that the spirit of the country is up 49%. Where did you hear that? That's a record that's never gone up. And that's gone up over just since the election, since November 5th. What a great day. Was that a great day? Was that good? Because we're going to make our country great again. After years of stagnation, our economy is roaring back to life. Optimism is soaring. Hope is returning. And we have brought back the words common sense to our government. We had a big day yesterday. You saw that, having to do with men in women's sports. No longer. It's over. But we're going to be securing our borders, defending our freedoms, and restoring the principle of meritocracy. Merit. We're a merit-based country again. And we have a Supreme Court ruling to that effect. Nobody thought that was going to happen. That was a great ruling. It didn't get the kind of notoriety that other things get, but in its own way, it was just about as important as anything. It gave us the right to go back to a merit-based, we're a merit-based country now. It's based on competence, intelligence, and based on ability and all of the things that really can make a country great. Around the world, America is being respected again, and you are already witnessing some very incredible results. Just days before taking office, my team negotiated a breakthrough ceasefire agreement to stop the bloodshed and killing in the Middle East and return the hostages held captive by Hamas back home to their loved ones. And as the Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. And in that end, I hope my greatest legacy, when it's all finished, will be known as a peacemaker and a unifier. I hope that's going to be true. You know, when I left, we had no wars, we had no problems, we had no inflation, all we had was we were going to go just up. And I came back. We have Russia, Ukraine. We have the Middle East has exploded. All of these things would have never happened. We have inflation that was the worst in the history of our country. But we're joined today by several brave families whose loved ones were taken hostage during the October 7th horrible attack 16 months ago. And I know I speak for everyone here today when I say that we're keeping you in our hearts and our prayers. And please stand if you are one of the people who have been so gravely affected. Please stand. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, they're coming in. More are coming in today. They're coming in. It's a very traumatic situation, very tough, as the people know that are here with us. But they're coming in. And I made a statement. I meant it totally. That if they're not home by the time I get into office, all hell will break loose in the Middle East. And I think they respected that statement. So we'll see. But we have more hostages to come, and we hope they live up to their word. And I have to say, who knows if that's going to happen. But one way or another, it's going to work out. It's going to all work out. As president, I will not rest until every remaining hostage has been returned to their families. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Also with us is an incredible survivor of October 7th. What a horrible day that was. That would have never happened. Iran was broke. They had no money to pay to Hamas or Hezbollah. They were stone cold broke. And when I left, they started selling their oil again. They took the sanctions off. They did everything wrong. I mean, I'd like to say the opposite of that. I would much prefer saying the opposite, but they did everything wrong. That includes with Russia and Ukraine. That should have never happened also. All those millions of kids, you know, the soldiers are just being decimated. The two countries, probably 800,000 Russians, 600, 700,000 Ukrainians, young people, just laying on a battlefield dead. It's a horrible situation going on over there. We're working very hard, and I think making progress to stop it. Also with us is an incredible survivor of October 7th who was held captive by Hamas for more than 8 months. Noah Agramani was the music festival. She was at the music festival and attacked on that terrible day. Where are you? Where are you? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's great that you're here. I watched you on television. I don't know what you're doing, but you look like a much younger person. I don't know what the secret is. Please give it to all of us. For 245 harrowing days, Noah showed unwavering strength and courage and faith as she endured the unendurable, really, what she went through. But by the grace of God, she was rescued by the Israeli Defense Forces, and now she's come back to pray with us this morning, and it's such an honor to have you, and you're really an inspiration, Noah, to all of us. Thank you very much. The innocent civilians attacked on October 7th were targeted for one reason, because they were Jews. They were murdered and kidnapped because of their faith, and these events remind us of how blessed we are to live in a nation that has thrived for 2.5 centuries as a haven of religious freedom, although I will tell you the last 4 years have been very difficult. It would have been a very difficult thing for me to have made that statement if this speech was taking place 2 years ago. My administration is absolutely committed to defending this proud heritage, and I will always protect religious liberty. And that is why today I'm on and really honoring a lot of people, but I'm announcing that I will be creating a brand new presidential commission on religious liberty. It's going to be a very big deal, which will work tirelessly to uphold this most fundamental right. Unfortunately, in recent years, we've seen this sacred liberty threatened like never before in American history. There's nothing happened like the last 4 years. What's happened with so many things have gone bad, but religion, what they've done, and the persecution that they've executed have been just horrible. For example, most of us would not have believed it possible that a grandmother with a severe medical condition, quite elderly woman, would be put in jail for praying here in America. She was put in jail because she was praying. But we're joined today by a woman who was 75 years old. Paulette Harlow was sentenced to 2 years in prison for peacefully praying outside of a clinic, charged under an obscure law that hadn't been used in years, selectively weaponized against Christians by the previous administration. I never understood how we won with evangelicals, we won with Christians by a lot. But even that little bit that they got, I said, who are the people that voted for them? Who would vote for them? They were terrible. They were terrible to you, and they were terrible to people of religion, all religions. At her sentencing, the judge mocked Paulette's Christian faith. Exactly 2 weeks ago, it was my honor to grant Paulette and other persecuted Christians, about 23 of them, a full and unconditional pardon. We got them out of there. We got them out. They're so clean now. You know those pardons? You're so clean. There's nobody so clean as Paulette in this whole room. She was just, oh, she got a little lucky, didn't she? Yeah, she got lucky that I won that election. But she was going to be in there for a long time, right, Paulette? But what happened to you must never, ever happen again in America. So I want to thank you very much for being here, Paulette. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Enjoy your life. To confront such weaponization and religious persecution, today I'm signing an executive order to make our Attorney General, who's a great person, she's going to be a great Attorney General, Pam Bondi, the head of a task force, brand new, to eradicate anti-Christian bias. About time, right? Anti-Christian bias. Yeah, you never heard of that one before, right? But it's about time, isn't it, though, really? So many times you hear, but you don't hear the anti-Christian bias. The mission of this task force will be to immediately halt all forms of anti-Christian targeting and discrimination within the federal government, including at the DOJ, which was absolutely terrible, the IRS, the FBI, terrible, and other agencies. In addition, the task force will work to fully prosecute anti-Christian violence and vandalism in our society and to move heaven and earth to defend the rights of Christians and religious believers nationwide. You've never had that before, but this is a very powerful document I'm signing. You got it now. First time you've had it.
If we don't have religious liberty, then we don't have a free country. We probably don't even have a country. This week, I'm also creating the White House Faith Office, led by Pastor Paula White, who is so amazing. That man's happy. Look at, stand up. Let me see. Why are you so happy? You love Paula, right? Oh, Lebanon tough. Yeah, so you know what we're talking about better than anybody. Yeah. You're going to have a great new ambassador to Lebanon. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. It's tough. Yeah. You're going to have a great new ambassador. We just put him in. While I'm in the White House, we will protect Christians in our schools, in our military, in our government, in our workplaces, hospitals, and in our public squares. And we will bring our country back together as one nation under God with liberty and justice for all. Throughout history, those who have sought control and domination over others have always tried to cut the people off from the connection to their Creator. At the same time, every nation with big dreams and great ambition has recognized that there is no recourse more precious than the faith in the hearts of our people. It's the thing that makes our nation great. It makes other nations great. When you don't have it, you don't see great nations. Without God, we are isolated and alone, but with God, the scripture tells us all things are possible. Well, look at me. I'm standing before you today. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. A lot of people said, I shouldn't have been here. A beautiful day in Pennsylvania. It's a shot that should not have been missed. Well, it got me a little bit. It got me a little bit, but pretty amazing. My son, who's a great shooter, Don, both of them, Eric, they said it's like sinking a 1-foot putt from where that shooter was with that particular weapon. And it just happened to turn at the right instant, a fraction of a second. If I was late or early, it would have been over, and you would have somebody else speaking today. But got very lucky. It was a chart on immigration came down, and I looked to my right. Quickly, I looked to my right. I said, drop that chart. Boom. And I said, man, what was that? So if I didn't make that turn, so it's, you know, my son, Don, said, Dad, I'll tell you, you got saved by God. This is, you know, I shouldn't say this, but that was a big statement for him to make. He was moved, Eric, likewise, because it's, you know, you could say it's a miracle, or you could say something, but it was really, it was God that saved me. Thank you. But even in the dark, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's very nice. Even in the darkest moments, hope is never lost. And 2 weeks ago, I went to a small town in North Carolina. What a great place North Carolina is. We love North Carolina. We won that thing 3 times. We won the primaries. We won the elections. We won it. And my daughter-in-law, Laura, is so incredible. She comes from North Carolina. She did such a great job. They love her in the state. But we've had great luck there, and I reciprocate. And it had been virtually destroyed, the whole state, this Hurricane Helene. It was a heavy water hurricane, the water like nobody's ever seen. And lakes were built in areas that were always dry. And the people had lost everything they owned. Numerous people, many people dead. FEMA under Biden was a disaster. They were almost not even, they essentially weren't even there. They'd been abandoned by their government and seen their friends and neighbors swept away and die. Saw many of them. One of those I met was a pastor named Ramona Nix, really good woman. Her congregation is small, but they had just purchased a brand new church, beautiful church. She said people asked her, "What are you going to do with this big building?" It was such a good, beautiful situation to be in. And then came the hurricane. And she looked at them, she said, "Only God knows." Just 1 week after dedicating that church, the storm hit their little town, and the pastor's church became a lifeboat for a community that was just displaced. The church withstood the storm, one of the few buildings that did. Before the end of the week, the sanctuary was so packed with supplies that it was hard to walk. Everybody from all over the country was sending her. His message was not one of sorrow, but of joy. God is good. And she said it very strong. And she said, "Sir, God is good. He is very good." It's been just 17 days since I took the oath of office. Wow, 17 days. It's time still flies. It's 17 days. It's gone. I've been so busy that it's hard to believe. But we've done a lot in 17 days, haven't we? And in those 17 days, we've accomplished really what some people haven't accomplished in 8 years. From the flood-ravaged valleys of North Carolina to the flame-scorched bluffs of California. I went there. What a shame that is. I've never seen anything like it. As far as the eye could see, just devastation of rich neighborhoods, very rich neighborhoods. Some of the richest people in the country lost their houses. Rich, middle income. I wouldn't say poor people. This was a rough period of weeks. You know, I opened the floodgates a few days ago. Let the water come down because the environmentalists didn't want water. They still don't want it. If they had their choice, they don't want it. I said, "Are you crazy?" And I'm sure you've seen it. The water comes down from the northwest parts of Canada, I guess, but the Pacific Northwest. And it comes down by millions and millions of barrels a day. And I opened it up. It wasn't that easy to do, but I opened it up and it's pouring down, and it's a beautiful thing. And it should have happened. I told them to do it in my last term. They didn't do it, but now we just did it. They didn't want to do it, but we did it. But from the gang-ridden streets of our inner cities to the war-torn lands of the Middle East, we're working urgently to restore hope and prosperity, safety and peace all over. Every single day of this administration will act with purpose and historic speed, because like that pastor in North Carolina, we know that God is good, our future is bright, and America's glorious destiny is just within our reach. And so together we will make America stronger and prouder, safer, freer, greater, and more faithful to our God than ever before. And I just want to thank you. You're very, very special people. You're great people. It's an honor to be with you. And I will see you again next year. Okay? Thank you very much. God bless you all. And God bless America. God bless you.
All right, there's President Trump. Two really nice speeches this morning. At the prayer meeting and then the prayer breakfast. There's Paula White, one of President Trump's closest
Thank you, Mr.
religious
President,
leaders
for being
and
here
confidants, I would say.
This tradition for celebrating our love of Jesus Christ, our shared love.
Oh, come on. Why would they cut it off like that? President's got a busy schedule today. So we're gonna be covering a bunch of stuff today. But it's nice to do this first members only. This is our first members live stream. So I want to thank everybody for being here. And hopefully we can build this up and it's weird on my side. I see things totally different. Like I can't really tell how many people are here. everything looks a little different to me, so it's a little interesting. But hopefully we can build up the members community here and do some members only streams. I did want to show you one thing. Talk about powerful. Talk about this. I've said this on the show for years, that everybody at some point has a line in the sand where they say, okay, this is just not working for me, whether it's their own life, their own whatever. And doesn't matter how they voted in the past. At some point, everybody reaches that point, or most people reach a point where they just say, this is not working for me. And this gentleman, well,
lied about being the party of the.
He officially reached it. Take a listen to this.
This fucking political party, the Democratic Party, have lied to us about everything. They've lied about being the party of the middle class. They've lied about being the party of peace. They've lied about being the party of that wants to help poor people. Okay? What the last several weeks have proven to us all is that this is a cadre of criminals and losers and spoiled children of affluent parents who were more concerned about looking good than actually doing good. These are people who were more concerned about looking like they were doing something for the American people than actually doing things for the American people. And that's why I'm so angry. Because this party lied to me while stealing my tax dollars. The Democratic Party lied to us all while they brought in millions of illegal immigrants for their own political purposes for the last 4 years. 20 to 30 million illegal aliens brought in, and now we come to USAID being probably the largest money laundering operation in American history. Congratulations, Dems. You've outdone even Bernie Madoff. I'm disgusted beyond words. Disgusted with the waste of money. Disgusted with the waste, with the fraud. With the way that you people use color legitimacy, and the way you use black people as fucking mules to get us to push whatever fucking agenda you wanted to. The amount of division you used black people to sow upon the American people, you used us for that. And I will never, ever forgive this political party. The shit that I've gone through personally. Y'all were supposed to be the party of free speech, the party of women's rights. You have immolated all of those things. And then, as if enough weren't enough, you then decide that you're going to die on the hill of USAID, a government audit. You're trying to prevent a government audit because some of you really are trying to stay out of prison. We see the game now. Y'all been out here telling us that the game was rigged against certain people. Well, now we found out who the people that were rigging the game were. Congratulations. Y'all are never going to win another political race ever again. Not if I can help it.
Wow. I mean, how good is that? I mean, that's just pure. I guess I didn't check to see if this was him or he just posted it. Yeah, this looks like the same guy. Baltimore, New York City. Baltimore born, New York City made. Uncle to 7. Yeah. I mean, that is just strong. I mean, And there's just so much truth behind it. Everybody's got a point where the wake-up call comes with this party, the Democrat Party. I think you're right about that. I think we absolutely should reach out to him. As a matter of fact, why don't we do it on, this is why we have a members-only stream, so we can do stuff that no one else gets to see, right? Let's go back to that. Let's see if he has messages open. No. Oh, these guys don't have their messages open. I can't message. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see if I follow him. Do I hit messages open now? No, still no. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. I never clicked on this little symbol here. So it gives you like, I guess, a write-up. Isaiah L. Carter, former Biden supporter turned critic, now despising the Democratic Party for betraying core issues, all while enjoying his daily coffee with cinnamon, nutmeg, and vanilla. Oh wow, gives you really details. Isaiah's been diving into political discourse, from critiquing the Democratic Party to discussing personal awakenings. The X community has rallied around Isaiah Carter, with at Chicago One Ray welcoming him to MAGA, Scott Pressler thanking him for speaking out, and Antonio Sabato Jr. applauding his truthfulness. It's all part of the growth, he responded. Well, there you go. That's actually a pretty cool function of Grok. I'd be afraid to do it for us, but no messaging available, so I can't direct message him. Oh, I guess he does a show as well.
It's so crazy because I thought about writing that, like as I was riding home from the train, riding home on the train from work, and I wanted to write something and get the show, get things started, because like.
Oh, okay. So he does something. He has a show too. Wow, it's 3 hours. That's cool. Evan Barker, he had as a guest. Looks like it's a 2-man show, maybe. Oh, I'll have to watch a little bit of it. But boy, I thought that was pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. Smart guy, obviously. Oh, he's got haters too. So you know that he's resonating with people when the haters start coming out. Yeah, he's very active on Twitter. This is all today, 1 hour ago. Well, we'll see what we can do to try to get a hold of him. I don't know why he doesn't have his DMs turned on. Maybe he gets too many. Maybe he turned them off after that. Wow, 222,000 posts. Holy cow. Talk about active. Well, either way, good for him. I mean, that is a fantastic rant. Yeah, it's gone viral. Exactly, Kathy. It's definitely gone viral. Yeah, so I guess the Grok description, you have to not be yourself. You can't do it when you're logged into your own account. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I did kind of chuckle at this too.
Well, did you see what happened yesterday where they found hundreds of millions of
Politicos
dollars
here. I hope you're
money
enjoying your
fraudulently.
I hope you're enjoying your breakfast, he said. Oh man. Hey, look, it's our old friend Ed Henry. Had Kathy, not Kathy, what's her name? Carrie Lake on. What happened to Carrie Lake? Didn't she's taken over some Voice of America or something or other? I haven't heard much about her in that yet. Looks like billions of dollars have been stolen at USAID and other agencies, much of it going to the fake news media. See, here's my question to everybody. Do you feel like it's... I'm just being technical, playing devil's advocate here. Is it technically stealing? I mean, I know that's the way everybody wants to like fraud, stealing, but is it actually fraud and stealing, or is it just reckless, stupid? But when you actually get down to it, is it actually fraud and stealing? I don't know about that. Much of it going to the fake news media as a payoff for creating good stories about Democrats. I guess when you phrase it that way, yeah. The left-wing rag known as Politico seems to have received $8 million. Well, as we discussed last night, it's a lot higher than $8 million. A lot higher than $8 million. Did the New York Times receive money? Who else did? Those are the important questions. This could be the biggest scandal of them all, perhaps the biggest in history. The Democrats can't hide from this one. Too big, too dirty. Well, where President Trump really needs to stay on is when he says he wants to know what the kickbacks are. Yeah, money laundering. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I was wondering when it gets down, when the rubber really meets the road, could you actually make the case to the Attorney General that would the Attorney General actually look at it as stealing or fraud or just stupid, reckless, but they actually do have the right to spend the money where they want? I don't know. It doesn't really matter when it comes to public perception, obviously, which is probably more important, honestly. But where the president is right and where he needs to stay on is what he said the other day in the Oval Office while he was signing those executive orders, and that's on the kickbacks, all the money that went to California for that project that he says he wants to do an investigation. When he starts talking about following the trail of kickbacks, there's going to be a whole lot of nervous people. A whole lot of nervous people in this government. And I'm not even going to say it's all on the left because it's probably on both sides of the aisle. Can you imagine if he was to start seriously looking at money that went through organizations that ended up back at the, campaign or in the pockets of the actual representatives? You want to talk about making a whole lot of people nervous? Start making it clear that you're seriously going down that road and the Attorney General's seriously going down that road. That's a real unraveling that will make people nervous. Chris Pavlovsky, the owner of Rumble, it's all unraveling. What the Democrats used USAID to do around the world, they even did it against their own people here in America. Abolish USAID immediately. Well, I think that's a given at this point. USAID is nothing more than a corrupt slush fund for leftists. Yeah, it's a Democrat front group. That's exactly right. That's exactly what it is, and people have been on it for a long time, like Mike Benz. But for me, that's where the president, he can start making people real nervous if he sticks on that. If he sticks on that line, that yeah, we see that the money went out. Whether it's fraud or stealing, we'll let the Attorney General figure out what can or cannot be done. But what we're more interested in is where the money really ended up. I follow Data Republican, Kathy, and he is a great follow. Elon actually has been caught on to him. I think a lot of people now know. Data Republican's one of the main sources I used on election night when we were live at the America First Warehouse. Data Republican is one of the accounts I had up in front of me that I was actually going to the most. He's a great follow on X. I think he does this all the time. He writes code, creates code for whatever the situation. He did it. He was doing it on election night for votes in certain places and what to look for. That's why I was following him. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, right here. Crunching FedGov spending, election data, maps code. Elon Musk said he's worth following. Yep. Charlie Kirk, you're a must follower. Yeah, I honestly, I mean, obviously we don't have the pull of Charlie Kirk and Elon Musk, but I think we were probably on this account earlier than anybody else was. Like I said, I was following him before the election, and I used him on election night, and he did not have 295,000 followers back then. I think he had around 11,000. And I noticed some of the things he was posting, and I thought, man, this guy's got some good data. Wish it would tell me when I actually followed him. It's been a while. Boy, look at Chamath. I mean, the change in some of these guys, it's amazing, the change. Kind of like, just like the video we just played of that gentleman, Isaiah. Chamath, in some ways, is like another one of those kind of videos. He was such a Trump hater. And now he's reposting Elon, posting Trump saying billions were spent, and then he's posting headlines from Politico. Democrat polling finds Elon Musk is unpopular. Like, you would never have seen this. And his profile picture is in front of the President of the United States seal from election night. Why am I not following him? Yeah, it's the waking up that's going on is really crazy. They had to see it to believe it. Yeah, I think they had to not only see it, God's fancy girl, which I love that name, but they actually had to live it too. I think a lot of them have not only seen it, but they're really starting to live it, and it's really like touching their actual lives. It's always one thing when you're still in the cheap seats and it's not really affecting you. But I think they've more than seen it. I think some of them have actually had to live it or adjust to it or have it touch their lives in some way. That's the thing. I mean, and again, I think U.S. AID is just going to scratch the surface. Can you imagine when they start going through, if they're able to go and Elon's guys continue to work, can you imagine what they're going to find when they get over to Treasury? And I'm sure Scott Bessent's not going to have any problem with them going through there. I'm sure he'd love to help. So he knows too. But can you imagine the money, what they're going to find out of Treasury? Can you imagine what they're going to find out of defense? Can you imagine what they're going to find out of education? Oh. I mean, I don't even know how they have the manpower or the time to be able to start to tackle some of this stuff. It's going to make USAID look like child's play. When you look at the overall budgets that these departments had every year, as opposed to whatever the budget for the USAID was, I have to imagine they're probably the smallest one of the ones I mentioned. What's he talking about here?
Morning, everybody. It is morning, 1:57 a.m., Thursday, February 6th. I'm going to the Capitol here, walking through the rain from my apartment, so we can sit here and do nothing all night from 2 to 4 a.m. and the rest of the night in the morning, because the Democrats have chosen to obstruct President Trump's cabinet nominees. For some reason, they feel they have an unelected mandate to do so. The reality is they don't have a mandate, and they are chewing up valuable legislative floor time we could be using to pass border legislation, to pass legislation to bring down taxes, bring down inflation, and get our economy back on track. Instead, we're going to be wasting valuable floor time in the United States Congress doing nothing as they slow it up. But we're not going to let them stop us. Unfortunately, whatever it takes, nights, weekends, holidays, we're going to get President Trump's cabinet in place so we can get to work getting this country back on track. Let's get to work.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of truth in what he said, but if it continues like that, then you're going to need Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune to get together and start using some of their tools, because that just can't continue to stand. They're in the minority. They shouldn't be holding things up. So again, I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about there, but I'm sure there's a lot of truth to generally what he's saying. But Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune are going to have to get together and figure that out. Kathy, data Republican is a woman. Wow, I didn't obviously realize that. She's actually deaf and a freaking genius. We're so fortunate to have her, and all of this bringing so many into the light. It's glorious. Wow, I did not know that. Thank you for letting us know. I guess I just assumed. I don't even know why I did. I don't know. I didn't know. I thought it was a he. Interesting. I love Ed Martin, by the way. This appointment, I talked about this appointment the day it happened. He actually follows us too. Eagle Ed Martin. He's now the U.S. Attorney in the District of Columbia, and he is no joke. Hey, thugs with guns, we're coming to avenge the deaths of the innocent. Vengeance is mine, but prison is yours. How'd you like to be on the other side of Ed Martin right now? No thanks. No thanks. Yeah, what a difference, huh? Guys like this, Pam Bondi there, replacing that fool who was there. Oh, God, my God. Could you imagine we ended up on the Supreme Court with him? Garland. Oh, what a disaster. What a disaster. The only bigger disaster that could have been is Kamala Harris after you watch that CBS interview that they released yesterday. I mean, you just watch some of that and think, what would this country be in for if she somehow got installed, if it wasn't too big to rig? Oh my God, what the difference would be from what we're feeling and seeing now as opposed to what she would be doing. The danger the country would be in. Our enemies would be salivating every morning. And now they're running for the hills. Operation Bronze Griffin. House GOP report says Facebook giving FBI partisan tips. What? The FBI has a politically one-sided surveillance partnership with Facebook under the apparent name Operation Bronze Griffin, according to a bombshell report released today by released Friday, not today, what's today, Thursday, by Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee. The 1,050-page report broadly outlines the FBI's alleged pro-Democrat political bias just days after the revelations of a secret Facebook portal through which authorities can request the deletion. When is this from? This has got to be from a long time ago. Oh, yeah, this is from November 4th of 2022. Oh, I see. Steve Friend is just referring back to this, saying, what's the original post? Oh, okay. All right, sorry, I got confused. Steve Dace, 46 minutes ago. The U.S. government specifically conspired to limit their reaches via unconstitutional censorship of alternative media like The Blaze, The Real, and Daily Wire, and many others, while simultaneously boosting funding and elevating their competitors, disseminating the government's preferred narrative in corporate media. Yeah, that's what Politico did. There has to be quite the lawsuit in there somewhere. There's obvious constitutional issues, antitrust issues, and maybe even RICO. Okay, so there's what we're talking about here when I say, is it actually technically theft, or is it more just reckless? But maybe he's right. As in, how many levels of bureaucracy would it take to implement such a scheme right down to your local news, all sounding the same in so many markets? This is a great point. And then Steve Friend said the FBI had informants working for social media companies who provide them your private messages without a warrant. Of course, they censor alternative media. Yeah. Interesting. Mitch McConnell makes big announcement after falling multiple times. Well, the only announcement any of us care about from him is that he says, I quit. Let's open this up and see what it says. McConnell provides health update after multiple falls at Capitol. I mean, with all due respect, we don't need updates. We just need you to go away. We all feel bad that you fell. None of us take any joy in it, but take the message. Get out. Former GOP Senate leader Mitch McConnell, who stepped down from that role last year, thanked the Lord amid rising concerns about his health, provided an update. The Kentucky 82 was seen using a wheelchair after the incidents. Reports said he fell down a small flight of stairs at least once, leaving the Senate chamber on his way to lunch. Fox confirms McConnell falls down Senate stairs after voting to confirm Scott Turner, unclear about his injuries. McConnell appears to be okay. He was helped by Steve Daines and Mark Wayne Mullen. According to his office, McConnell, who had polio as a child, is currently using a wheelchair purely as precautionary measure. Senator McConnell is fine. No, he's not. The lingering effects of polio in his left leg will not disrupt his regular scheduled work. Oh, okay. So that's, it's not just that he's old, like all of us are going to be someday, and we all should know when to move on to enjoy the last quarter of our lives without doing what he's doing. He just can't get the message. He's not fine. He needs to get out for many reasons, his health being one of them, but what he's doing to this party and to the country, the bigger one. Get out. I think he just slipped on the steps. Okay, yeah, sure. Sure he did. Leader Thune says McConnell was fine and in his office. McConnell revealed last year that he's not leaving the Senate. He's focused on combating the Republican Party's isolationist movement. You see this? This is the problem. Hi, Tucky. What are you doing? Go lay on your bed. Or you want to come up and talk to the people? Come on. Come on. Come on. See this? McConnell hangs around, not to help, not to do anything. What's he want to do? Combat the Republican Party's isolationist movement. That's a nice way of saying I'm going to fight against Trump and do whatever I can. Which some viewed as a shot at President. No, what do you mean? That's exactly what it is. This is why he's sticking around. This is what he says. This is why this guy's such a disaster. I despise that man for everything he's done in the last 20 years. Been absolute destructive to this party. Destructive to the Tea Party. Destructive to MAGA. An absolute disaster. The reason we don't have better primary candidates solely on his shoulders. The reason we're stuck with a bunch of these lamos strictly on his shoulders, where he funded all these primaries going against real conservatives to give us a bunch of Mitt Romney types. The guy's solely responsible. And I don't want to hear about what he did with judges. Anybody could have done what he did with judges after Harry Reid basically lined the golden road to be able to do what you want with judges. Harry Reid did that, not Mitch McConnell. Anybody could have done what McConnell did after Harry Reid did what he did. Anybody. Guy's a total disaster. How about J.K. Rowling, by the way? I mean, in her position, a lot of women could just sit back in their, multi-billion-dollar empire in their mansion and not say a word. But boy, oh boy, she's got guts, this woman. She has guts, man. I'll tell you that. She is out there defending women, and she makes no bones about it. I mean, look at this from today. I mean, she doesn't need to be doing that. And her publicist and her agents and everybody around her are probably telling her, you sure you want to do this? And she doesn't give a crap. She's like, I damn well sure do. What are they going to do to me? Good for her. I don't even know. I don't know what the rest of her politics are. She's the Harry Potter creator. She's worth probably a couple $1 billion. Who knows? Maybe more. But I'll tell you what. On this, she's shown a lot of guts, man. To step out the way she has. Because a lot of people in her position absolutely would not. President Trump, I didn't see this. CBS in 60 Minutes defrauded the public by doing something which has never to this extent been seen before. They 100% removed Kamala's horrible election-changing answers to the questions and replaced them with completely different and far better answers taken from another part of the interview. This is election-changing stuff, election interference, and quite simply election fraud at a level never seen before. CBS should lose its license, and the cheaters at 60 Minutes should all be thrown out, and this disreputable news, quote-unquote, show should be immediately terminated. With the new Democrat scandal that just arose with respect to USAID illegally paying large sums of money to Politico and other media outlets, the question we must ask, was CBS paid for committing this fraud? Many other questions to come. This will go down as the biggest broadcasting scandal in history. Absolutely right. Broadcast stations utilize a scarce public resource, frequency spectrum, under renewable and revocable licenses. U.S. legacy broadcast networks own the most valuable collection of these licensed stations nationwide. This is bad news for all of them. And who's the next guy? Who's the new guy at the FCC? Brendan Carr, I think is his name. These are the kind of paths that Trump needs to stay on. This is where you turn the spigots off their money, go after the media. This is where you really get them to bend the knee. This is where you make real change. This is where you really start to unravel this cadre of, as Rush used to call it, the drive-by media. Here's the actual tweet right here. Pretty amazing. 14.3 million followers, which now one of them is us. Brett Tolman, epic. Brett Tolman should be involved with this administration somehow. Man, he is fantastic. He's like Ed Martin, like Pam Bondi. He's another one. Like to see him somewhere. Just like our friend of the show who's working with the president in the White House as White House counsel, Will Scharf. Love him too. Boy, I tell you, for the complaints I had in Trump round one, in his first term about personnel. He has totally reversed it in round two. 90% of his personnel so far has been fantastic. There's been a couple duds. The labor secretary there, I wish he'd replace her. But it has been absolutely fantastic for the most part. Okay. All right, everybody. So our first members live stream, it's been great. Thank you all who showed up for this first one. I know there's a lot more members than what are here, but I don't know if they didn't get notified or they're just not used to. I don't know how you find out about a member's. How did you guys find out about a member stream? What did you get? Because I have no idea how it works. This is our first one we did. Did you get like an email, a notification? What did you get to know that I was live, since this is a members only stream? I don't think it's publicly viewable, even on our page. If you go to our page right now, I don't think it shows that we're live. Notified on YouTube. Okay, so you got notifications. So you have to hit the bell notification maybe? Or you'll just get notified, I guess, if you're a member. So interesting. Okay. All right, so maybe we'll see. You're right, hit the bell. Yeah, you got to hit the bell notification to get notified. Okay. So I'll have to, I'll let people know that we did this. Oh, you saw it on the live page. Oh, so maybe if you're a member, it does show that we're live. Notification. Okay, interesting. All right, well, we're going to keep doing them. And then some of these, we'll give you guys a link that if you want to actually come on camera and join us, either by video or by audio, we'll do that as well, especially when we get the other guys on the show here. We'll do some more. Tucker is a Woodle. He is a Wheaton Terrier Poodle mix. Right? You, Mr. Handsome? They can't see how handsome you are. Can't get comfortable. Yeah, he's a Woodle. He's the best guy. He is the best guy. Spoiled beyond belief. He's a mama's dog, but he's a daddy's dog when mama's not here. Right? When mommy's not here, you're my best friend. As soon as mommy's here, you don't know I exist. Right? So I have to enjoy my days while mommy's at work with him. Because as soon as mommy gets home, it's like, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. And then he follows mommy everywhere she goes. So yes, in the mornings, you're mine. You're all mine. It says you're live members only. Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I went to the YouTube channel from a different account to see what it looked like for, somebody who just came out. I didn't even see that we were live. I couldn't even see it. But we'll learn as we go. We'll try to figure it out. The goal is to get more members, obviously, and build this up. So, all right, we may be live for everybody, public live stream later in the day, as President Trump has a pretty busy day today. I get his schedule emailed to me every morning. So I know there was some other things that he was doing today. Last one said motorcade rolled to a stop at the White House at 10:15. So he's back at the White House now. The prayer breakfast was over at the Hilton. So like literally every move he makes, I get an email about where they are, what he's doing. So anything else that happens today of importance, obviously we'll try to stream it. We'll try to be live. We'll do a regular open live stream to everybody. Yeah, busier than Joe. Certainly busier than Joe. I'm still not sure that says much. I think busier than Joe would be like getting on both your feet in the morning for more than like 5 minutes. Then you're officially busier than Joe. Yeah. That's not the bar I think Trump wants to be held to for sure, but you're absolutely right. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Members only stream. First one worked out pretty good. I like it. We'll do some more of it. All right, Tucky, say bye. Everybody's got to go now. Like, yeah, whatever. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. And maybe I'll see you later during the public streams. And if not, we'll do another, we'll try to do another member stream tomorrow. We'll see what the president's schedule looks like. Thank you all for jumping in. Spread the word. Gift memberships if you're allowed. We'll see you tonight for sure. Obviously, 8 o'clock live from Studio 6B. Thanks, everybody.